What makes a story truly unforgettable for you? Is it like the power of the choices you get to make?
Or maybe the characters you really inhabit.
Yeah, or those surprising connections you uncover that just stick with you.
It's interesting how different ways of telling stories try to capture that, that deep immersion, especially when they try to blend things up and challenge what we expect.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're exploring today. We're going deep, really deep into Beyond Two Souls.
Ah, yes. The action-adventure game from Quantic Dream.
Exactly. They're known for really pushing the envelope on interactive storytelling, which makes it a perfect subject for us.
And for this deep dive, we've pulled together quite a stack of sources. We're looking at everything from, the gameplay mechanics to the critical reception, which was pretty divided, actually.
Right, and the development story, even its future on TV.
Yeah, that too. So our mission, basically, is to pull out the most important bits of knowledge from all this material. Give you, our listener, a kind of shortcut to being really well informed about this, pretty unique game.
Exactly. You get the full picture without having to wade through everything yourself. So what can you expect? We're going to unpack that innovative dual-character gameplay.
Definitely.
Explore the huge emotional plot, sometimes controversial too.
Very much so.
Go behind the scenes of its really ambitious development, dissect why people were so split on it, and, like you hinted, peek into its surprising legacy, including that upcoming TV show. So yeah, get ready for some real aha moments, because Beyond gives us a lot to talk about.
It certainly does.
So let's kick things off. What is Beyond? Two souls, fundamentally. Quantic Dream has really carved out its own space, hasn't it? And this game is kind of quintessential then.
Absolutely. At its core, it's an interactive drama and an action-adventure game. And that's not just a label, it really defines the whole experience they were shooting for. David Cage, the writer and director, he's always been very vocal about wanting to make interactive storytelling that's accessible to, everyone, including non-gamers.
Which is a pretty big deal, wouldn't you say? Because usually game means high scores, complex controls.
Exactly, button mashing, reflexes.
But Cage is saying, no, this isn't primarily about that kind of skill. It's about feeling the story, experiencing it emotionally, almost like you're inside an interactive movie.
Precisely. And that vision directly shapes the protagonist. You're mainly playing as Jodie Holmes.
Played by Elliot Page, right?
Yes, brought to life brilliantly by Elliot Page. And the game really follows her whole life, from adolescence to adulthood. It's a really deep emotional journey, seeing her grow through some extraordinary circumstances.
And then there's Aiden, the other half of the two souls.
Right, Aiden. He's described as this incorporeal entity, basically a separate soul linked to Jodie since birth. And this psychic link, it's not just story fluff, it's the source of all her supernatural powers. But it's this, intense, often tense relationship. There's control issues, codependency themes. It's complex.
A gift and a burden, sounds like.
Definitely both.
Yeah.
They're not alone. There's a strong supporting cast. Willem Dafoe plays Nathan Dawkins.
Ah, great actor.
Fantastic. Plays this researcher at the Department of Paranormal Activity, the DPA. Becomes a sort of complicated father figure to Jodie.
Okay.
Then you've got Kadeem Hardison as Cole Freeman, another scientist there, and Eric Winter playing Ryan Clayton, a CIA agent whose life gets really tangled up with Jodie's.
And these actors, Page and Dafoe included, they did full performance capture, right? Not just voices.
Exactly. On-set voice acting and motion capture acting for a whole year in Quantic Dream's Paris studio.
A whole year.
Yeah, which is pretty extraordinary for a game production back then. It really shows how much they wanted those nuanced, realistic performances. It blurred the lines between filmmaking and game development, for sure.
That commitment really speaks volumes. So the core idea is Jodie learning to control Aiden and these powers while just trying to live a life that's been completely defined by this connection.
Yeah, it's about acceptance, self-discovery, finding your place when you're different, feared even.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more. A separate soul, linked since birth, granting supernatural powers. That's quite the hook.
It absolutely is. And what's fascinating here is how this fundamental link sets up not just the narrative, but the very mechanics of how you play the game.
Yeah.
It dictates everything.
Right, which takes us neatly into the gameplay, because this is where Beyond really tries to do something different, push that interactive drama concept. You're not just one character.
Not at all. You're managing this partnership between Jodie and Aiden.
So controlling Jodie first, how does that work?
When you're playing as Jodie, it feels pretty familiar if you've played action-adventure games.
Yeah.
You guide her around, interact with things, talk to people. The interactable objects have a little white dot, and you usually just tilt the controller stick towards it. It's meant to feel intuitive, keep you in the scene.
Less fiddly, more immersive.
That's the idea. And it's very cinematic. When Jodie needs to do something specific, like dodge or climb, icons pop up on the screen to prompt the player to press and/or hold certain controller buttons.
Ah, the QuickTime events, or QTEs. Quantic Dream is known for those.
They are. It keeps your focus on the action, not on memorizing complex button combos.
And conversations.
Similar idea. Dialogue choices float in the air. But there's a twist. If you wait too long, it defaults to a choice. Adds a bit of real-time pressure, makes conversations feel more dynamic than just clicking through a menu.
I like that. What about action scenes? Chases, fights?
Those use slow motion quite effectively. The cinematography moves into slow motion, and you need to quickly determine the direction Jodie is moving and push the controller stick that way to succeed. It keeps you involved.
Makes sense.
And there are also these real-time stealth sections, which often really require you to coordinate between Jodie and Aiden. Thinking about how to use both their abilities is key.
So teamwork is built into the mechanics.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And failure has real consequences. Failing certain action sequences will alter the course of a chapter, sometimes even impacting later chapters.
Wow.
And yes, sometimes non-playable characters can actually die based on your actions or inactions. So every choice feels like it carries weight.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Not only do you play as two characters, but your decisions actually ripple through the entire story.
They do. Which brings us to Aiden. Playing as the incorporeal entity. How's that?
Well, that's where the gameplay gets really unique, I think. You can switch to control Aiden instead, pretty much any time.
Right. Or even have a second player control Aiden in co-op mode, which was quite novel.
So Aiden's like a ghost.
Essentially, yeah. He exists permanently in no-clip mode, so he can move through walls, ceilings, and other obstacles.
That must give you a completely different view of things. Scouting ahead, maybe.
Absolutely. Great for recon or manipulating things Jodie can't reach. But he's not totally free. He's limited to moving only within a certain radius around Jodie.
Ah, the spiritual tethering.
Exactly. You often see this visual tether connecting them.
Yeah.
And when you switch to Aiden, the whole look changes. The world goes monochromatic and interactive things glow with a colored aura.
Oh, right. The colors tell you what Aiden can do.
Precisely. It's a smart visual language. Orange aura means you could possess that character.
Temporarily control them? Cool.
Yeah. Red aura means you can strangle them.
Yeah.
Aiden has a dark side.
Oh.
Blue aura lets you knock objects around, interact physically.
Yeah.
And green aura means you can heal characters.
Healing, that's unexpected.
It adds another layer to him. And Jodie, of course, relies on Aiden for all sorts of things. She might ask him for a protective shield in a fight. Or, and this is a big one narratively, allow the dead to speak to the living through her. He can also grant her visions, let her see events of the recent past, or even enable her to heal someone's injuries. These aren't just gameplay tricks. They're woven into who Jodie is.
So all these mechanics, Jodie's actions, Aiden's powers, they all feed back into the choices and the branching narrative.
That's the heart of it. It's through your choices, dialogue, Aiden's actions, success or failure in QTEs that the gameplay's plot is revealed and shaped by you.
It's Quantic Dream's whole philosophy.
Right. Your choices affect dialogue and story developments. And crucially, the outcome of entire scenes, sometimes scenes chapters later, can be manipulated. It really encourages replayability to see different paths.
Maybe give some examples, right? Like in the party chapter.
Yeah, a really stark one early on. Do you unleash brutal revenge toward a group of bullies or simply run away? Big consequences either way.
Or the embassy mission.
Another heavy one. Use Aiden for psychic information retrieval, or you can actually jeopardize the mission by forcing one of the guards to commit suicide.
That's dark.
It forces you to confront the power you have. And all these choices build up, ultimately determining which of the number of possible plot endings you experience.
Which really makes you feel invested in Jodie's fate.
It does. But, this raises an important question. How much control does the player truly have when the core narrative still pushes towards a defined endpoint? It's a key tension in interactive storytelling, finding that balance.
That's a great point. How much is real branching versus flavor? And that brings us to the plot itself. It's not just a backdrop. It's this huge emotional journey spanning years.
It really is. It starts with Jodie as a young child, voiced by Caroline Wolfson, living with foster parents.
Yeah.
But right from the start, she has this psychic connection with a mysterious entity named Aiden.
And she can't really control it at first.
Not really. She can communicate with him, do telepathic things, possess people, move objects.
Yeah.
But it's often chaotic, unintentional.
Which leads to problems, I imagine.
Big problems.
Yeah.
There's an incident where Aiden almost kills one of the neighborhood kids. Understandably, her foster parents are terrified. They end up placing her in the custody of doctors Nathan Dawkins and Cole Freeman of the United States Department of Paranormal Activity, the DPA.
So she essentially grows up in a research facility.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Under their care, she starts to learn about Aiden, tries to control the powers. Meanwhile, Dawkins and Cole are working on their own project, the condenser.
What's that?
It's described as a portal that connects the world of the living with the world of the dead, the infraworld.
The infraworld, okay.
And this research connects tragically with Jodie's life. Nathan's wife and daughter are killed in a car accident.
Awful.
And Jodie, trying to help him, discovers she can channel spirits of the dead from the infraworld through touch. Let them speak through her.
That's intense. For everyone involved.
Incredibly. Then we jump forward to teenage Jodie, now played by Elliot Page. She's desperate for independence, from the doctors, but also from Aiden.
Wants a normal life.
Exactly. She tries several times to live a normal life, but Aiden keeps intervening, often disastrously. It really highlights how much of a burden this connection can be.
So she can't escape it.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Then things escalate. The condenser built by Nathan breaks open, releasing hostile entities.
From the infraworld.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jodie manages to shut it down, warns Nathan strongly against building another one, but her actions get the attention of the CIA.
Oh boy.
They send Agent Ryan Clayton to basically forcibly recruit her. Any illusion of freedom she had is just gone.
So she becomes a CIA agent.
After training, yes. She goes on multiple missions, often with Ryan, and there's this slow burn attraction developing between them. But then comes the Somalia mission, a major turning point. She's sent to kill a warlord, but afterwards she realizes she actually killed the country's benign president.
They lied to her.
Completely manipulated her. She's enraged, feels utterly betrayed, and flees in disgust, becoming a fugitive, despite Ryan trying to stop her.
Wow. So she's on the run from the CIA.
Yeah, and this part of the game is actually quite moving in places. She spends time with a small group of homeless people, helps one woman, Stan's girlfriend, give birth to a girl named Zoe.
Zoe. Okay.
Then later she lives with a Navajo family and has to save them from some kind of malevolent entity on their land. These moments show her humanity, her resilience, even when she's got nothing.
But the CIA catches up eventually.
They do. After she tries to find her biological mother, who turns out to be catatonic, held and forcibly drugged for decades in a military hospital.
That's horrifying, just layer upon layer of tragedy.
It really is. And after her capture, she's basically handed back to Nathan Dawkins.
Who's now running the DPA.
Exactly. He's the executive director, and he's overseeing a newest condenser, codenamed the Black Sun.
Oh, he built another one.
He did. And he tells Jodie the CIA will grant her freedom if she does one last mission, destroy a Chinese-developed condenser before they can attack the U.S.
An offer she can't refuse.
It seems that way. But Jodie discovers Nathan's gone off the rails. He's built his own miniature condenser, trying to talk to his dead wife and daughter.
Oh, wow. Obsessed.
Totally.
Right.
Jodie tries to tell him he's just trapping their spirits, but he won't listen. And when she tries to leave, the CIA detains her. They plan to drug her into a catatonic state, just like her mother.
Oh.
It's brutal. And then Nathan, who's now described as insane, reviews his plan. Shut down the Black Sun's containment field, merging the two worlds together, making death meaningless so he can be with his family forever.
That's apocalyptic.
It is. Aiden, though, too weak to free Jodie himself, manages to contact Ryan and Cole, who race to help her.
The climax.
Yeah, a dangerous trek to the Black Sun, fighting off infraworld entities. Cole gets injured. Ryan sacrifices his own safety for Jodie. It's intense.
And the confrontation with Nathan.
Happens right near the Black Sun. Depending on your choices, Nathan is either killed by Aiden or commits suicide to join his family. Very heavy stuff.
And then the big reveal.
Right as she's about to shut down the condenser for good, Jodie has this vision. She realizes Aiden is her stillborn twin brother.
Whoa. Okay, that changes everything.
Absolutely. It reframes their entire connection. Not just psychic, but familial from before birth.
So that leads to the final choice.
Exactly. The ultimate choice. Does she go back to the world of living? That's the life choice. If she does, her connection to Aiden is severed. The CIA doesn't need her anymore. She's free, but has to choose how to live. alone or with Ryan, Jay, from the Navajo family, or Zoe and her family.
Independence, finally.
Or she can choose to go on to the infraworld and be reunited with everyone she has lost. The beyond choice.
So she dies.
She joins Aiden and other lost ones in the infraworld, dying in the process. But even then, she continues to watch over those who remain, warning a now teenage Zoe about future dangers from the infraworld.
That's incredibly poignant.
And no matter which path you choose, the ending implies the infraworld has become a widespread threat in the near future, and Jodie's preparing to face it.
Always a fight waiting.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this extensive plot demonstrates the game's commitment to delivering a cinematic, character-driven narrative, which was a core ambition for David Cage. It spans years, deals with huge themes.
So, what does this all mean for the player when you've just been through such an intense, year-spanning journey with Jodie? Face that final choice, it's got to leave an impression.
Definitely. It's not just about winning. It's about reflection, empathy, the weight of those choices. And that intensity came from a really groundbreaking, challenging development process.
All right, let's get into that. David Cage unveiled it at E3 2012, right? Sony's conference, made a splash showing in-game graphics from the start.
He did. And he positioned it as evolving from Heavy Rain, a more action-driven experience, much more direct control, more spectacular action.
It's still using those QTEs.
Yeah, he mentioned integrating them in a new way. Interestingly, no PlayStation Move support this time, unlike Heavy Rain.
And Quantic Dream's history is all about these wrought psychological thrillers, right? So the emotional narrative is a critical element, always.
Absolutely. Cage wrote and directed. Guillaume de Fondemer was executive producer, Christophe Brousseau, the art director. A core team driving that vision.
And the scale. The script was how long?
Get this, 2,000 pages long.
2,000? That's massive compared to a movie script.
Insane. Elliot Page even said, we do 30, 40 pages a day. It's insane compared to a film, and stressed how emotional it was. Jodie goes through a lot.
And that required that advanced motion capture setup you mentioned.
Exactly. Quantic Dream is basically an advanced motion capture studio.
Yeah.
So Page, Dafoe, all the actors did full performance capture movement and voice together on set for that whole year in Paris.
Really blurring the lines.
Completely. Trying to capture every nuance.
And the soundtrack had its own story too, right? A tribute.
Yeah, sadly. The game is dedicated to composer Norman Corbeil, who worked on Heavy Rain and Fahrenheit, but he passed away during development.
Oh, that's sad. Who took over?
Lauren Balfe, who did Assassin's Creed III. A great choice. And incredibly, Hans Zimmer actually came on board as a producer for the soundtrack.
Hans Zimmer. Wow. That's huge for a game score.
It really shows the ambition and respect the project commanded.
And speaking of respect, it even premiered at a film festival.
It did. The 2013 Tribeca Film Festival. Page and Cage were there. They showed a 35-minute demo.
That's pretty groundbreaking. Was that a first?
It was only the second time the festival had recognized a video game. L.A. Noire was the first in 2011.
So this really highlights that push to legitimize games as a storytelling medium, putting it alongside film.
Absolutely. For Tribeca to showcase it like that, it speaks volumes about the perceived artistic merit, the narrative depth they saw and beyond. It was a real statement about the convergence of mediums.
This raises an important question about the convergence of mediums. For a film festival to recognize a video game speaks volumes about the perceived artistic merit and narrative depth of titles like Beyond. Two Souls. It challenges old ideas about what counts as art.
Definitely a significant cultural moment, suggesting interactive stories were being taken seriously.
A game premiering at Tribeca feels like a milestone. So after all that buzz, how did it actually do? Release? Reception?
Well, the anticipation was high. There was a demo released on the PlayStation blog in October 2013. PS Plus users got early access.
Right.
Then the full PS3 release rolled out worldwide that same month.
And there was some chatter right away. Censorship.
Yeah, the European version of the game is censored. Just 5-10 seconds change to keep the PG rating at 16 instead of 18. Small edits for ratings boards.
And then there was that unfortunate leak.
Ah, yes. The nude images leak. Images of Jodie appeared on Reddit. Turned out they came from a developer PlayStation 3 unit that had a free camera mode for QA testing.
Oh dear.
Sony acted fast to take them down, clarifying they were of the digital model and not of Page, who apparently has a no nudity policy in her contracts. But it definitely sparked conversations about digital likeness and ethics.
A tricky situation with that level of realism. But the game didn't just stay on PS3.
No, it expanded. PlayStation 4 version came out in November 2015, sometimes bundled with Heavy Rain. then a Windows PC port in July 2019.
Initially exclusive somewhere.
Yeah, exclusively available through the Epic Games Store for the duration of a year. Then it hit other PC stores.
Okay, so the critical reception, you said polarized.
Extremely polarized. Metacritic averages it out as mixed. PS3 got a 70, PS4 a 72, PC a 76. So generally okay scores, but the reviews themselves were often wildly different.
What were the big points of praise?
Performances were almost universally lauded. Page's character portrayal of Jodie Holmes and Dafoe's performance as Nathan Dawkins, critics loved them, called them exceptional.
And visuals.
Huge praise there too. People noted the amount of technical details in the game's animations and graphics, called PS3's graphical high point, uncannily gorgeous, staggeringly great motion capture. Quantic Dream's tech was definitely impressive.
And some liked the core concept, the interactive story.
Yeah, many praised the interactive storytelling mechanics, the emotional soundtrack, and its ability to appeal to non-gamers. PlayStation Official Magazine UK called Page's performance astonishing, the linchpin that holds all the madness together.
High praise.
GameSpot called it a gripping adventure, saying the choices made them care dearly for her, become enamored with this young woman. GameCM called Page's performance truly breathtaking, one of the truly great video game acting showcases, and hailed Cage as a visionary. So real enthusiasm from some quarters.
But on the flip side, what were the main criticisms?
A big one was gameplay passivity. Some felt it was too passive and unrewarding. One critic said it was unwise to build up our expectations and then take that away from us where it feels most important, like you didn't have enough real input.
Tied to the story, maybe.
Often, yeah. Some called the narrative muddy and unfocused, or the plot unbelievable, unintentionally silly at times. Others mentioned thin character presentation and frequent narrative dead ends, where choices felt like they didn't matter much.
So a lack of real interactivity or challenge.
That was a frequent complaint. Critics said you'll never be truly challenged by the gameplay, that it was all story with trivial choices. More like watching than playing for some.
Any specific examples?
Electronic Gaming Monthly called it another flawed experiment, better in some ways, worse in others. Eurogamer was quite harsh, calling it grueling, sentimental, arguing player choices only modified the tone, but the overall story is going wherever it's going. They really highlighted that tension between Cage's strong authorial control and player agency.
Knowledge is most valuable when understood and applied. Here, the critical reception highlights a fundamental debate in video game design, the balance between player agency and a predetermined narrative. It encourages us to question assumptions about what a game truly needs to be.
Exactly. Beyond really became a focal point for that debate. Cage clearly prioritized a specific cinematic emotional experience, and that didn't sit well with everyone who wanted more freedom, more tangible impact from their choices. It showed how different people define what a game even is.
A fascinating clash of expectations. But despite the critical divide, how did it sell?
Commercially, it did pretty well. It was one of the top 20 most pre-ordered games of 2013, so there was strong initial hype.
And the sales numbers?
It sold 1 million copies worldwide during its first 3 months. Pretty solid start. By July 2018, it had sold 2.8 million units.
That's significant. Makes it one of the best-selling PS3 games, right?
Yep. And consider the budget, $27 million for development, plus around $18 million for marketing and distribution. That's more than Heavy Rain's $22 million budget. So it was a bigger gamble, but it paid off.
Did well in their home country, too.
Yeah, it outsold Heavy Rain and Quantic Dream's home country, France. And it picked up quite a few awards and nominations, too, for things like Best Adventure Game, Graphics, Elliot Page's performance, innovation. Despite the mixed reviews, it definitely got recognition.
So, putting it all together, what's the legacy of Beyond Two Souls? Where does it sit now?
Well, David Cage himself talked about this back in 2014. He spoke about the constant changes occurring within the gaming industry and Quantic Dream, trying to find a middle way.
A middle way? Between what?
Between, as he put it, hardcore gamers who see games as a skill-based sport and casual gamers who play games as a mere hobby.
Interesting. So trying to appeal to a different kind of player.
Exactly. He said their aim is games that try to tell a story, to carry meaning, and where violence isn't the core activity. Yeah. And most importantly, to create an emotion, to make players live something strong and unique. That emotional impact is key for them.
Prioritizing feeling over mechanics, essentially.
Right. And that ambition, that focus on narrative, is now reaching beyond games. You mentioned the TV adaptation.
Yeah, that's the latest news. January 2025, it was announced.
Right. Page Boy Productions, which is Elliot Page's company, acquired the rights to adapt Beyond. two souls into a TV series, with Paige producing.
Okay, let's unpack this. A game that was already praised for its cinematic qualities now getting a TV series. It feels like the circle is complete.
This evolution from game to TV series is a fascinating one, reflecting the growing appreciation for narrative complexity in video games and how these stories can transcend their original medium. It also signals a deeper dive into the characters and themes, potentially reaching a new audience.
It really speaks to the strength of the core story, doesn't it? That it can be reimagined like this.
It does, but it also raises interesting questions about translation. What do you gain? What do you lose when you take away the interactivity?
Great question.
So there we have it. We've journeyed through Jodie and Aiden's story, unpacked the unique gameplay, heard about the ambitious production, the polarized reception, and now this new chapter. Beyond really is a landmark title in interactive storytelling, for better or worse, depending on who you ask.
Absolutely. It challenged norms, sparked debate, and delivered a powerful emotional experience for many. Its journey from game to potential TV show is a story in itself.
Makes you think about where storytelling is headed.
Exactly. So, our final provocative thought for you, the listener. As we see a game like Beyond, two souls make this leap to television. What does that really signify? Does it mean the best stories can work in any format, that they're truly medium agnostic?
Or does it actually highlight something unique, something irreplaceable about the interactive experience itself, a power that maybe even a great TV show can't fully capture?
What stands out to you when you think about this game's journey, from controlling Jodie and Aiden directly to potentially watching their story unfold on screen?
It's a really interesting tension, isn't it? The original game puts you in Jodie's shoes, makes you feel the weight of those choices, that connection to Aiden. A TV show can explore the characters, the world, maybe even expand on it.
Right.
But it loses that direct player agency, that feeling of being Jodie. So, is the story powerful enough on its own? Or was the interactivity, the act of choosing, the real magic?
Something to definitely mull over. A fascinating place to leave our deep dive for today.